Oh, showtime, baby. So, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, embarrassing loss last night. We already know this. We already talked about it. We went over it. So, no need to relitigate it 100 times, right? They've got things to clean up, especially defensively. We know this. And hopefully they can make a couple of moves at the trade deadline to put them in a better position, right? And one of the things about the deadline, shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Um, the trade deadline will tell us how teams really feel about certain players. So who they keep, who they trade, right? Who they target, right? We kind of know the needs already, right? And we know the different reporting. They're all countering each other, contradicting each other. That happens a week out from the trade deadline. We are a week today from the trade deadline. So, but the fact is, where can the Yankees? Yes, they need two relievers, a third baseman, and probably a starting pitcher as well, right? And the chance of them getting all three, all four, I'd say 50-50. I mean, if Cashman makes some good trades, and at this point too, teams are going to try and take advantage of them. We know this, right? Because where the situation that the Yankees are in. David Cohen, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. According to Boone, the defense is just fine. Well, I don't buy that. Defense is not. I mean, the defense, with the exception of when they played, they weren't fine last night. And they're also in the top third of performance in terms of defensive acumen. So, the worst defensive team in baseball, Boston Red Sox. Okay. It depends on the deadline moves, Jeffrey. I don't know what the deadline moves. I don't know what the deadline moves are going to be, but they can turn the season around. And it's, we got to remember, they're 4 games out of first. They're not 15 games out. Okay. So a lot of folks act as if the Yankees are 15 games out. They're not. Okay. So the Montez trade from way back, yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember that, one of the things that we talked about is it looks like the Yankees got, a defective player, obviously, and I don't know how he had clean medicals. I don't know how the A's doctors cleared him and so on and so forth. So, but that was a trade that did not work. It did not work. So, and again, Susan, yeah, I mean, Tony, come on, and exactly, and the fact of the matter is too, like, no manager out there is going to throw his players under the bus, right? No manager's going to do it. And you'll see sometimes he takes offense with some of the questions that are asked of him because they're the same questions over and over again. Over and over again, right? And we'll see what happens at the trade deadline. I mean, the Yankees have work that they need to do. Hopefully today they make a move, right? Today's a day off. There's no games. So hopefully they make a move. So if they do, I'll be live. I'll be live to put it out. So, like who, Albert? When you say better manager, what do you mean by better manager? Players who really want to play. How do you know they don't want to play? This is a narrative put forth by so many people. Either the accountability or the team's not having it. And like, elaborate, please. Beagle, ask the question, my man. Will any move help the Yankees? Yeah, the right moves will help the Yankees. Again, they're not 15 games out. Okay? We can sit here and blame people all day like a whole bunch of other people do all the time, every day. Who do I blame today? It's all they do, look for people to blame. Right? Yet this team is gutted by injuries. Are we sitting here blaming the Dodgers manager and the Dodgers GM for all the injuries they have? No. We don't. Right? Yeah, our 1, 3, and 4 are down. Our bullpen, tons of injuries. Right? So that is a very hard thing to overcome. which is why the title of this is how long relief can be a big time weapon. Excuse me, big time weapon for the Yankees if they use it, right? And you give me your thoughts about this. I mean, we know Brian Cashman likes to use the bullpen. Not Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, right? We know that he trusts his guys, and the guys appreciate that. But at the same time, right now we're in a position where he has to overuse guys. And Jim Leyland, back in the day, old school manager, he said the best way to use a bullpen is to use it the way you want to, and not using it instead of the way you have to, right? Using it the way you want to is better than using it the way you have to. Right now, he's operating from the way he has to use it, right? So, unfortunately, we're missing Cruz, Scotty Frost, right? He's not really performing. Johnny Loizaga not performing. Ian Hamilton not performing. We lost Jay Cousins, who was another valuable contributor to the bullpen last year. And a bunch of valuable pieces in the bullpen are injured, right? Unfortunately. And that's why the moves that they need to make, they're going to have to be replacing probably E. Frost or Hamilton or Loizaga. And rightfully so. Those are the guys that need to be replaced, right? So David Cohen, I don't have to admit anything. Injuries aren't an excuse. Injuries are a factor. Okay? People like to say that they're people that point it out are making excuses. They matter, right? We don't have the depth to back them up. It's like, so many folks want to sit Volpe, right? I'll put him down or trade him and so on and so forth. The guys that they replace him with right now on the roster, people also want to get rid of them, right? And I ask people all the time, who are you going to replace him with? Nobody gives me a credible answer. They just go right back to the pivot. That's an excuse. Simple question. Steven, what's happening, my man? Yeah, Weaver's hit a hiccup. I mean, this again, right now Tim Hill is also being used almost every day. They need another lefty. And I keep talking about long relief. And let's go back to this, okay? The two guys the Yankees have coming back, Luis Hill and Ryan Yarbrough, would be best suited, in my opinion, for long relief, right? And when he was a starter, he won Rookie of the Year, he's been good. What happened twice already as a starter? He's been hurt significant periods of time, right? He's got a big arm. And Ryan Yarbrough he doesn't have a big arm as as Luis Hill does, but he's got good stuff, and good stuff plays at the major league level. So how can we best deploy these weapons? And then this is just my take. I don't work for the Yankees. They don't pay me to say this, okay? And yeah, Bichette's not yet. There isn't a good answer, yeah. But people love this. The answers that they don't like to hear, they say they're excuses, right? People tell me directly, why don't I trash people? I'd be more credible if I trash people. How does trashing people every day make me more credible? When they're not here to defend themselves, when they're not here to respond. How does that make me more credible? Nobody can answer that. Right? And Brubaker too. Brubaker would be another guy to mix in for long relief. But the guys with the bigger arms right now, right? Luis Hill. And why do I say this too? Because let's just say, what are some of the things that we do know? As we get into the postseason, you're going to be facing better teams, right? More often. So the best teams make the postseason, right? And at that point, your starting pitchers are usually not going to give as much length. So let's just say Carlos Rodon or Max Fried, or let's just say the Yankees trade for a good pitcher, right? And that pitcher starts game one, and they're playing 3 games in a row. And that pitcher gives up a bunch of runs. He's out in 3 innings, right? Would you rather use the bullpen for 6 innings, knowing they have 2 more days in a row of playing, or would you rather use the guys in long relief? Let's just say this guy goes 3, and you bring in Hill, and he throws 4 of darts. And Hill takes a little while to ramp up, right? He has to find the location. So that's something he needs to work on. Maybe a different warm-up period for him might be a good thing. I don't know, right? Ryan Yarbrough, what if you send him in and he throws 4 innings? And now we're heading to the 8th inning, and we've only used 2 pitchers instead of 6 pitchers. Okay, that's just why I'm a proponent of long relief. Okay, I like Mitch Keller, David, but again, he only would help in one area, right? So, and again, well, that's what I'm saying. 40% of our starting rotation only goes 5. This is the whole point of long relief. Now, I got to give kudos to Marcus Stroman. He's been good since he's been back. 5 innings of good baseball, keeping us in the game. Got to give him his flowers for that, right? And I had Hector on from last night too from Uptown Sports and Morning Brew. He said the same thing, and he's absolutely right. Right. So could he be long relief? Yeah. Could Brubaker be long relief? Yeah. Brubaker's been hurt. Yarborough's been hurt. He's been out, what, 2 months now, Yarborough? Hill's been out the whole season, right? And he got pounded yesterday. But he gave up 5 runs in his AAA start. So, and he's going to hit. But would it be a good idea to implement these guys in long relief right now? Along with Stroman, right? And this is what I'm talking about. Well, that's the other thing too. Why do to your question too? No, to your point, Ron. Why do guys not have options? Because they keep coming up for a short period of time and get optioned back out, right? And this is what I hate about options. I can't stand options. It's something I'd rather get rid of, in all honesty. You know, and if Stroman doesn't want to come out of the bullpen, you could start him. And if he stinks, you got Yarbrough and Hill. That's the point of the long relief, right? So, and this is where I think right now, because there are, whatever trade deadline moves they make, that doesn't just solve all the problems, right? And they have guys coming back who they're going to need to deploy. And these guys, they're not going to move on from Hill. They're not going to move on from Yarbrough. So they're not going to move on from Fernando Cruz when he comes back. They need him too, right? So, and these are valuable pieces when they come back to the team. Did I hear what happened to Justin Fields? I did not hear about anything with Justin Fields yet. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. Even if you could put Will Warren, okay, in long relief as well. You have the flexibility now to do that at this point. Justin Fields got hurt already. Wonderful. Wonderful. Jets cannot get any breaks. Oh my gosh. Where are you hearing Devin Williams blaming catchers for his subpar results? Where are you hearing that? We know he didn't like the way games were being called with the pitch count stuff, so he's taking matters in his own hands, and he's gotten better with that. Where is he blaming his catchers for his subpar? I haven't heard that. Is another channel saying that? Who's saying that? What channel is saying that, James? Please tell me. Well, we do know, and we got some even reporting last night that some starting pitchers have expressed frustration with Austin Wells' lack of preparation to a degree. Yeah, we know he calls his own pitches, but where is he blaming the catchers? We know he's calling his own pitches. He had to take matters into his own hands, and it's working. So where's he blaming the catchers? That's a narrative that if somebody's pushing, they need to be called out on it. Right? We know that the starting pitchers have expressed frustration with Austin Wells. We do know that. He shared that last night as well. Right? Well, exactly. We have a pipeline of catchers that we send to a lot of teams, right? It's just it is what it is. We don't know, David Cole. We don't know, right? We don't know what pitchers express frustration either. So, but if that's the case, then it's up to him to work on that. You can only go by what we're hearing if the reporting is credible, right? But there's a lot of stuff that's being pushed out there that it's not true. Like the other day, there was floating around everywhere, social media and YouTube, that there's an offer on the table. There's not an offer on the table for Yanez Suarez. Yankees didn't put one out. The Diamondbacks didn't put one out. Some beat writer put it out. And people are running with that. And then they go, well, what happened? Why is Cashman not moving? Because there's no offer on the table. Right? Yeah. Exactly. There's no offer on the table. And channels are running with this. And people run with it all over Twitter. What are we doing? Why? Right? And just like yesterday reporting. So, and to your point, Lou, Mark Feinsand reported yesterday the Yankees are looking at Ryan McMahon as a backup for Eugenio Suarez. But then you got Jack Curry reporting that they're not interested in Suarez or McMahon or Brian Hayes. Right? The reporting is conflicting with the other reporting. So we don't know who to believe. So why are we just pivoting to the blame game and just blaming Cashman for stuff? We have no idea what's going on. I could see Suarez going back to Seattle. I could see him go to Detroit too. I could see him going to the Cubs. There are teams that would probably overpay for the guy, right? I wouldn't sleep on Milwaukee either. Seattle, well, so we do know that the Arizona Diamondbacks are looking for major league ready young pitching, right? The Mariners are not going to trade Brian Wu or Logan Gilbert or any of these guys. And they don't have any prospects in their top 5 that are readily available at the major league level for starting pitching. None. They're all offensive players in their top 5 prospects. We know that yesterday. So, and their top pitching prospects are not going to be available until probably 27 or 28. So they have nobody that could serve as an immediate impact player in exchange for Suarez when it comes to young pitching. And we know that do you think the Mariners are going to trade those young guys at the major league level for 2 months of Suarez? Like, is he the one missing piece for them? Right? So this is the thing. Yeah, exactly. They're going by what they're hearing too, right? So the only people that know, I mean, who knows more than the beat writers? Cashman does, Hal does, Boone knows. Do they share any information? No. Right? They don't leak. Well, exactly, Carl. Right? Which leads me, I mean, I could dream. Maybe Brendan Donovan becomes an answer. Happens. I'm not going to hold on to that one. I'm not going to hold my breath on that, but I'll take Brendan Donovan over any of those guys. So, but that's just me. I'll leave it at that. Let the man crush go off the hill, But this is the thing. Does Brian Cashman have something else cooking? Is he working on something else? Which like now I'm thinking more. Does he have a trade cooking with the Minnesota Twins or the Cleveland Guardians, who are now listening in on Stephen Kwan, right? And they're listening on Kwan. They're listening on Clase. And why were they listening on those two? And if they trade those guys, why would you keep J-Ram at that point? Why would you keep Kate Smith? Why? Right? Donovan has played third, second and third. And he's a plus defender, and he's a gamer. He's exactly that type of hard-nosed player that the Yankees are missing right now. Right? And he's also leading the National League in batting average. Right? Batting .295. It's not sexy, but his stats are balanced across the board. Mid-700s OPS. We don't need him to hit 35 home runs. We don't. But he can serve as leadoff hitter here, guys. AV plus defense, and he can play around the field. And he's a pesky player, just like Stephen Kwan, like some of these other guys. He would wreak havoc on the base paths. And again, he would bring that hard-nosed persona here that we don't really display as often as we like for him to display, right? So that's one reason I talk about him so much, because he is that, to me, he's that missing piece here for the Yankees. I don't think he would be my shocker move. Ramirez would be a shocker move too. Resign Nerod. Yeah, you might be right, Coach Carl. Yeah. Yeah, Deron. I mean, Cade Smith. I mean, look. He's a guy. They'll sell high on Class A, and I'm not surprised. Well, like, why would you trade Class A and Quan? And so that's like, oh, we're gonna kind of rebuild. We're gonna like you give up those guys, you might as well go all the way with it, man. But that's just my take on it. So, right? Yeah, somebody's pushing this narrative, and of course, I ask him who said that. And nobody's. I'm not getting any answers. He's not blaming the catchers. So we'll see, Ali. We don't know yet. It's still too early to just rule them out. People keep asking, are they cooked? I don't think they're cooked. I think a lot of the fans are cooked. Right? Well, that's your opinion, Jim, if you don't subtract Boone. The players like Boone, okay? And what manager right now, with the problems that the Yankees have, can come in and change everything around? What manager guarantees that they would turn this around? Right? Yeah, I mean, if look at the Twins move Duran and Jax or any of their other relievers, right? So, what guarantees that Willie Randolph will turn it around? What? Do I want him to get another opportunity? Yeah, I wish. I don't like the way he's been like kind of blackballed. I don't understand. I don't think Girardi is the guy either. I mean, I think he had his run, Coach Carl. Like, I understand why people want him, but he's gotten the best out of players. He's also gotten the worst out of players too. So, um, but I understand people want Girardi, Mattingly, but he's got a sweet gig with the Blue Jays right now. Why Mark DeRosa? Sloppy defense and lackluster plays on them. How's it on the manager and not the players, Jim? They're paid to do their job. They're not doing it right now. How's it on the manager? I mean, they work on this stuff before the games pretty much on a regular basis. They didn't execute at the games. So how's it on the manager, not the players? They're paid a lot of money to do a job, and they're not doing it. And why are we blaming the boss? He's not on the field with them. Why is he the scapegoat? He could be part of the problem, but he's definitely not the problem. Well, I don't know. We'll see, Silver, and that's the thing. Like, this is why I'm talking about long relief here. Just a constructive idea that can help maybe plant the seed for us to think about. Because all I hear all day is other channels just blaming Boone, blaming. Let's blame Volpe. Let's just blaming people for stuff, right? And most of these people, they've never played the game. They don't understand the game. But that's the convenient thing. You blame people all the time, right? Who do we blame today? People get hurt. It's an injury. Okay. Okay. Trade predictions coming out in the next couple of days, David Cohen. I'm waiting to see. I'll hear from one other content creator. That's coming out in the next 2 or 3 days. It'll definitely be at least 4 or 5 days before actual trade deadline. You can trade the players, Jim. You can trade the players. And new voice. What is the new voice going to do with the same players? Right? What's the new voice going to do? The long man to me, sir, and this is why, Graham, like I'm trying, I've talked about long relief for like 2 years. And especially having played the sport. And this to me is an area where not many teams, like what happened with the Dodgers last year when they won the World Series in the playoffs? Most of their rotation was gutted, right? So what did they do during the playoffs? A lot of long relief. Bob Lemon in the 70s. I mean, it's a different era, man. We also had drunks as a manager, like Billy Martin was fighting a play. He was a drunk. Okay, unfortunately, it's a completely different era. I understand what you're saying, Jim, but I'm talking about now. I look. I can't speak for the players, Coach Carl, but yeah, like once you get your bag, it's just like like I see it in football and basketball. Once you get your big contract, it's almost like people take their foot off the gas, right, and say, "Well, I got my money now, so I'm just going to put it on cruise control." It's almost like, and the manager can't dock their pay, right? He can't. You're not getting paid your salary. It's not his money. He doesn't sign the checks. That's that's a high level. That's a Hal thing. It's not a Boone thing. And these guys are adults and they get paid. They get a lot of money to play this sport. Okay. And again, this is also, I talk about this all the time. Everything is extra is magnified by 1,000% here. Like you're dealing with a mosquito's nest in other areas. You're dealing with Japanese killer hornets here every day. Every day. Right? Press, fans, everything else. Yeah, we do need pitching badly. This is why I'm talking about, I like to come up with constructive stuff. This is why I think long relief is an area where they can improve right now. It is. Well, exactly, Graham. He was a combative manager. He clashed with his players. He clashed with reporters, and eventually it wore thin on people. And they got rid of him, Girardi. So that, I mean, it didn't work for him in Philadelphia either. He had a good roster over there. They didn't win the World Series. He had the core four when he was the Yankees, and he had the biggest free agent class ever at the same time. So you could have had almost anybody managing that team, and they would have won the World Series. But I'm sure Girardi helped in his own way. I give him credit for that. So we don't know, Duran. We don't know that was a night. We don't know. I mean, just because he doesn't trash his players, no manager in baseball trashes his players. No manager, or throws them under the bus, especially in front of reporters. No manager in the game does that. Right? Yeah. People get fired for throwing their players under the bus. We go to games to watch the players, not listen to the managers. That's why I don't watch the post games. Right? I don't get any value from the post game shows. That's why I don't get any value from the content creators who spend their time talking about the post game shows. So I don't watch any of them. It's pointless. Right? We're fans. We want the team to be better. I get that. So to me, this is an area where they can get better, long relief. And we have two guys that in the immediate future, they're going to be back, Luis Hill and Ryan Yarbrough, who could serve as valuable weapons here. That way it's easier if you want to start Marcus Stroman, if he's not traded, right? And he's probably going to stay. Whether they showcase him for a trade, he's done a good job showing he can perform. Whether they keep him, he's done a good job showing he can perform. So I want to give him credit for that. But let's just go under the condition that they keep him here. And how do we make it most effective to deploy him? I think you give him four innings. If you can get five, you get five. And then you transition to somebody like Hill, somebody like Ryan Yarbrough. And you go through 8. That way you only have to use one reliever instead of 6. Right? That to me is a value add for long relief. Yes, there is a difference between trashing players and being honest about their play. Yes. But the other thing, too, is reporters keep asking the same questions over and over again, and they're expecting different results, different answers. Why is that, franchise? Phillies haven't won a World Series since 2008, Tyler. They haven't won a World Series since 2008. They went to the World Series, but they haven't won it. But they did, yeah, they went to the World Series with Robbie Thompson, who was a disciple of Yankees. Right? But the tough guy managed not going to work. And the problem is too, we don't know what kind of tough love he's giving them behind the scenes. We don't know. That's their business. That's up to them, right? And we also don't know how much latitude Aaron Boone has to kind of maneuver to do things in the amount. We don't know. It's this is where all the speculation comes into play. And I would rather give them the benefit of the doubt than listen to the clueless people in social media, the clueless content creators, right? But that's just me. Yeah, I can't speak for everybody else, right? What is the definition of insanity? You ask the same question 100 times, and you think the result's gonna. If he's giving you the same answers all the time, why do you keep asking the question? Same question, right? Like, it's pretty obvious they're not going to give you talking points to run with. Boone's not going to do it. Cashman's not going to do it. Hal's not going to do it. There's a reason why they don't talk to people on a regular basis, right? Yeah, they want a sound bit. Exactly. They're not going to give you a sound bit because people run with them and they turn them into this narrative, right? This is a tough job, man. And again, can Boone do better? Yeah, absolutely. But there's a lot of stuff we don't know, unfortunately, right? There's a lot of stuff we don't know. It's too early to say we're not making the playoffs either, realistic. At least in my opinion. Well, this is true too, Susan. Yeah, the players didn't like Girardi. They love Boone. For the most part. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else. We know Boone and Judge have he connects well with players. He trusts his players. He lets them be themselves, right? And the players appreciate that. But when they don't perform, we don't have, and this is a Cashman thing too. If we don't have the personnel to sit a Volpe, they playing Volpe every day because they don't really have any better options right now. And that's not a Boone problem. That's a Cashman thing. He's got to supply the team with better options, right? So, yeah, I have a feeling they're going to pass on Suarez too. And again, I would look. Can you do better realistic? If you can, then go apply for the job. Okay, go apply for the job. Apply for the GM job or try for shortstop. Okay. So this right here, who they get at the deadline will give us a good idea. And again, keep this in mind too. We don't know who the sellers are yet. And we're 7 days out from the deadline. We don't know who the sellers are. Right? We haven't heard from any of the teams, the GMs, or anything like that. Or the agents. We're hearing from beat writers who think they know. We don't know. Right? So we're basically going by what a lot of people are saying. None of them will play the game. So look, their fundamentals could get better. Yeah, the defense last night was sloppy, and you know what? None of those errors were Volpe. Not one. All right, Jake. Yeah, today's the day off, man. We can definitely use our first trade. This is why I'm hoping they get 2 high leverage relievers. But teams that have the high leverage relievers know that the Yankees aren't the only teams that want their high leverage relievers. So they're going to hold on to them as long as they can. Try to get people to bid as high as possible for these guys, right? That's unfortunately the way that it works at the trade deadline. Cashman does the same thing, holds on to his assets, right? So we don't know. We don't know. The price is high. The price is high, right? Prices are high. We've even heard that from people like Brian Cashman. And this is the way it always is. And there's a common sense will also tell you, it's a seller's market right now. There's more buyers than sellers. But with the expanded playoffs, it's just going to be harder to make these deals, right? So we don't know who the sellers are. We hope certain the sellers are, but we don't know. Well, David Cohen, might guess they'll look into it. But let's just say you trade Grisham, right? You sell high on him. What do you do at that point after that? It depends, Joe. Who's going to be free agent options? Because people keep saying Cashman didn't do anything in the offseason for third base. Who are you going to get in the offseason that was worth it? Willie Adames is not playing terrible. He's not playing well at all, and he's made $180 million, right? And he's in the San Francisco in a low-pressure environment. He wouldn't have been a good fit here. Bregman would not have been a good fit here. So who are we going to get? Okay, Bregman is, and second of all, too, Bregman's making $40 million a year. Over here, that would have been 80. He is not worth that money. Secondly, and we went over this too, his stats, he bats under 200 in Yankee Stadium, bats almost 400 in Fenway. So it made sense for him to sign with the Red Sox, right? Bregman was not. Yeah, $80 million a year. Keep in mind where their payroll is. They're over the Cohen threshold, so 40 becomes 80. They're taxed at 110%. 82. Is Bregman worth that? No. Right? And he would. I agree, Susan. He would not blend here. It would affect team chemistry. So who are we going to bring in? People keep saying he didn't do anything. He did do stuff. He addressed a lot of needs. But who was available at third base that was worth overpaying for? Nobody. Right? Correa is batting 270. Is he worth $33 million a year? No. He's not worth $33 million a year. Now, he's got an interesting contract because he does have 3 or 4 years left guaranteed, and then he has vesting options beyond that. And there's a certain criteria that needs to be met for each vesting option to be triggered. And if you don't trigger the first one, not going to trigger the other ones. So his contract could be 3 or 4 more years or 8 more years. And he's already, what is he, 30, 32, something like that, 31. So, well, yeah. And Correa has been he's had a lot of injuries, right? So Brian Hayes was the Yankee. And again, keep in mind, he's elite defensively, but he's light with the bat, right? Suarez is elite offensively, but he's light with the glove. So they're kind of the cross of each other. Ryan McMahon from the Rockies, he's average at both. He's not flashy with either. So those are the options that are being talked about most frequently. And if he's not going to go after any of them, I don't know. What could he be cooking in the lab, right? And this is why I do think, why? Well, let's see. We lost Oswaldo Cabrera for the year, right? We don't have any better options right now, realistic. Losing Cabrera is hurting the team more than we think it is, realistic, right? That's not Boone's fault. Okay. McMahon he's a little bit better defensively than offensively. And he's not flashy offensively, but he also has 5 seasons with 20+ home runs. So the consistency is there with him. He's also, mid-7s for OPS. So, yeah, Miguel Garcia, but the chances of them trading him are low. He's got 5 years of control left. Would they look into it? Yeah, maybe. And look, Rosario, he might be the guy that they bring in, Ahmed Rosario. He's a free agent at the end of the year, too. So he would clearly be a rental, but he's got contact guy with speed. He puts the ball in play. He's a solid defender. So who's saying elite from the left side, realistic? Are you trying to you're trying to catch a gotcha moment? It ain't going to happen with me, dude. Okay. If they get a third baseman and a utility player, let's just say they get Brian Hayes and they get Willie Castro. Okay, or McMahon and Castro. I'll be okay. I'll be okay with that. Castro can play multiple positions. And again, it also makes it easier for them to sit Anthony Volpe on occasion, right? Yeah, Murakami's been on the IL for months now. Why can't we get a healthy third baseman and shortstop? Who's available? Realistic. Who's available right now? Keep asking these questions. Dominguez doesn't play shortstop, realistic. Dominguez can't field. We know this already. Can't field elite. He's not terrible. He doesn't make a lot of errors. but he's not an elite defender. Yo, my man, and a feet from the strike zone. What's good, brother? I'm talking about, an area where we can improve the Yankees, and I think it's long relief, bro. Right? And we have two guys. We have Stroman here, and give him his flowers. He's done well so far. We have guys like Ryan Yarbrough coming back and Luis Hill coming back, right? And why can't Dominguez play his natural position in center field? Because we have a better center fielder than Cody Bellinger or Trent Grisham. He's better than Dominguez. Both of them are better than Dominguez. So, yeah, Bregman was available in free agent. He's not worth $80 million a year. That's what he would have cost here. Realistic. He's not worth it. Castro is a switch hitter. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Right? No, you going right back to your talking points, realistic? Yeah, Bellinger and Grisham are far defensively superior. You're absolutely right, Anthony. Right? And again, if they trade Grisham, well, it depends, Silver. If they trade Grisham, they're going to bring in another outfielder. I'll probably call up Everson Pereira, or some people want Spencer Jones called up. And if they do that, how's that going to affect Dominguez's bats? Because one of the complaints that we hear all the time is Dominguez is not getting enough at bats. He has more bats than Grisham. Grisham's stats are better. Yeah, it looks like he worked it for Boston, but he's hurt. And again, we knew this ahead of time, realistic, okay? He hits 400 at Fenway Park. He hits under 200 at Yankee Stadium. The fit doesn't make sense in the Yankees, realistic. It didn't make sense from the beginning. So good for the Boston Red Sox. He could also opt out. And it sounds like they're shopping him quietly. Why are they shopping him? Right? And the Boston Red Sox are not over the Cohen threshold. The Yankees are. They pay $40 million. We would have paid $82 for him because they're over the Cohen threshold. Right? Bergman is definitely not worth as much as Judge. 100%, NFP. He's not worth as much as Judge. Yeah, Brad, they want to escape his contract. Why does Boston want to escape his contract? Well, that's it. Like what we don't know, Graham, if they call up Jones, then I don't know if Dominguez is on the block. I don't know. Right? Yeah, the Red Sox they got rid of Devers' entire contract, right? And now, but it looks like the Giants are finding him to be a burden now too. No. Whose fault? Whose fault is what? Realistic. Whose fault is what? Do you have anything better to do than just blame people? Like, whose fault is what? Realistic. I don't know what you're talking about. Boston they might have bought it. I don't know. I can't speak for Boston, so I don't know. The Red Sox do have a great farm system. Okay. They also had the number one prospect in baseball, Roman Anthony, who came up and he didn't play well. Right. So they sent him back down. Could you sell Dominguez for pitching? Yeah, you could, but it's got to be controllable pitching and good pitching. You don't just sell him for spare pieces. Right. So, and we don't know. Bad contract? What bad contract? You talking about, realistic? You do realize the Yankees pick low in the draft every year, right? And they have to pay players a lot of money in free agency because of the market here. We do realize that, right? Yeah, Jackson Holloway too. He was the number one prospect in all baseball. He came up and was terrible. Twice they sent him down. Now he's decent. Right? If we don't know, Graham. I mean, they might be quietly shopping Dominguez. I have no idea. I don't know. Dominguez right now has been playing left field. He's been playing left field. So, no, you don't trade Dominguez for a rental. You don't trade Jones or Schlittler for a rental either. Yep. Some teams want Dominguez, but what have they got the Yankees? Pitching, ELT. Pitching. No, Jacob, but someone else told me about Justin Fields too. He got hurt today on the first day. Unbelievable, man. Sign Paul Skeens. Yeah, I mean, we got to wait 4 more years for that to happen. But if he keeps pitching well, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. Jackson brother got drafted. Yes, he got drafted number 4 by the Colorado Rockies. Ethan Holiday. He did. And it could very well be, Coach Carl, the Boston signed Bregman to keep him from the Yankees. You could be 100% on that. Yeah, that could be. And that's the reason why they wanted to move Devers over, right? And then Devers didn't comply. And they moved on from Devers. Bregman is a better third baseman than Devers was. We know that. He's a good defender. But they wanted to try to make it work for Devers at DH or first base with Bregman at third base. I get that. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. Right? If you trade in these young guys, well, exactly. You don't trade them for rentals. 100%, bro. A toe injury? Okay. A toe injury for Justin Fields? Yeah, Ben Rice, yeah. He hits the ball a lot into gloves. No. He is. He was excited to go in, so was his dad. And replace him with who, realistic? Do you have anything other than trashing Cashman to bring to the conversation? Why not converting LeGrand? I don't know. You know, and this is an error. Like I talked about this yesterday. He's a player that the Yankees should consider trading, but probably won't, right? Because he's got a huge arm. But unfortunately, they're in a position now. It looks like they're choosing between health and talent for him. Because when he's healthy, he's lights out. But he doesn't always stay healthy. Just like Henry Lalani. Big arm, big stuff, can't stay healthy. So he could be the next Dylan Betances. I'm fine with converting him to reliever, especially with an arm like that. He's got serious gas. That's Mason Miller gas right there. So we're going to the game on Saturday, Silver. On Saturday. Yep. Devers he was causing bad juju over in Boston, so they moved him. Good for them. And don't be surprised if Lalani gets traded. There's a bunch of guys that Brian Cashman is going to try to move on from. But we'll see. LeGrand, my guess is they keep him. And maybe they convert him to a reliever. Lalani, yeah, I agree. Lalani is probably a more likely trade piece. So is like Brock Selvage and Kyle Carr and some of these other guys. So I'm not acting like I keep asking you this question, realistic. You can't answer. You're trying to pin it back on me. You're not doing a good job, realistic. Okay. I asked you who do you replace him with? You can't answer that. It's easy. It should be easy for you to answer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jamie, I'll be happy to meet you on Saturday, dude. Sure. This is true too, David. Yeah, you're right about that. Thank you. I'm not triggered, Deron. I call people out. I'm not triggered. I'm relaxed. I'm chilling. No. But I'm not gonna dumb down the conversation with stuff like that. Right? Go check who's available. Realistic. That's a you thing, not me. Right? Beagle, what do you mean? I'm not sure what you're saying. Looking for a chat for that. Who are you referring to, John Beagle? Bob Watson. D. Epstein. Yeah, I think he's probably going to be the next commissioner of baseball too, Theo Epstein. He has no interest in being GM again. He's definitely looking higher. Of course, people are calling for Boone and Cashman. They've been calling for them for years, right? Yeah, fan base do that all the time. Jeter is better than Cashman. He's as an owner, he's never been a GM. Kim Ng was the GM when he brought her in, and Kim Ng was Brian Cashman's assistant with the Yankees. He quit as an owner when he realized they weren't going to invest in the team, and good for him. But he was never a GM. Right? Uh, he survived. He did. He did. If he got, yeah, it probably would go to Osmus. It probably would. Yeah, we do need a starter. Yeah, Dio got his. Dio got his stuff. He got his stuff done. Kim Meng wasn't as bad as you thought. Kim Meng, she took the Marlins. She helped her and Jeter took the Marlins to the playoffs. So, she was the first lady female GM in the whole game with a very you know lackluster team. And one of the things that frustrated Jeter that I know for a fact that he was frustrated that were planning on spending and they didn't spend to make the team better. They didn't invest in their product. No, Jeter gave Stanton to the Yankees for free. Jeter is the one that made the decision. Right? And yeah, it's Ng. It's just NG. Yeah. Jeter did the Yankees a solid there. Yeah. Well, exactly, Graham. I mean, unfortunately, um, injuries did the Yankees dirty this year. Really, really dirty. No. Yeah. Well, we don't know who, like, and this is the other thing, too, like, Jake, to your point, like, sellers today could be buyers tomorrow and vice versa. So, but I'm guessing he's active on the phones everywhere and he'll work with the GMs that are willing to work with him, right? That aren't going to try to extort him. And that's par for the course. That's common sense. And the Pirates, yeah, I doubt they're going to pay Paul Skeens. I doubt it. Well, yeah, the Marlins signed him to that big deal, and then they wanted to move on from him, just like they do every several years. So they basically got their farm, and we sent them Starling Castro, another prospect, and the Marlins are sending us $30 million, which they're going to start paying next year on Stanton's contract. So, which $10 million a year. How come Stanton ain't going? I don't know. Gotta ask them. Veterans want to give them days off, but I mean, to me, if it's a series tying game, I would want to have them in there, or at least Stanton right now. I mean, Ben Rice had a hot night the night before, so I can understand the logic there. But I would have had at least Stanton in there. Jeter, no. If he does, he probably want to be an owner to a degree. So I don't think he wants any part of that component of it, especially when he wouldn't have full say. So Jose Devers, thank you, David. Jose Devers. Wow. A trade, yeah, I mean, a trade can happen. You got that right too. And I gotta look right now and see if there's anything brewing, right? And just to put in perspective, in the month of July, their starters have a mid five ERA, and their relievers have a low six ERA. So they need arms. They need high leverage arms that can get players out. Now let's see here. Uh, yeah, I mean, I know that the Pirates are getting a lot of attention on O'Neal Cruz, but I would be shocked if they traded him. I'd be shocked. Um, yeah, even at Jack Curry. There have been reports out here that have been erroneous. Some connecting the Yankees to players they have no interest in. This is what I'm talking about. Conflicting reporting, right? So we don't know. And then that leads to what? People overreacting on bad information, right? That's definitely something that we don't like to do here. I definitely don't like to do, right? So those are not plants. No, these are just little toy things that my daughter's built at camp in a cup. It's like like shreds of construction paper. Fun. You know. I'm not sure that the top prospects list has been updated yet. Let's see, top 30 prospects. Let's if the I don't know if the draft picks are in there yet, but let's have a look. I'm looking at the top 30 right now. Mm, looks like none of them are in here yet. I do think that'll update. I do think Kilby will be in here, and probably Pico Khan will probably be there as well, and maybe even Manny Cedeno 17th. Cease is a free agent at the end of the year. The Yankees have been in dialogue with the Padres too regarding Cease. They have reached out, they do their due diligence on everybody. So, and he's got to be. Maybe a change of scenery will do him some good. Maybe working with Matt Blake will do him some good. So they looked into multiple guys that we know, Susan, but I can't see them making. I would be surprised if they made a move on Andrew Heaney. I would agree with you there. All saying Yankee. What stream are you on, Graham? What stream are you on? You should sell. Sell what? Unless you're selling Judge and Cole, you're not selling them. Right? The Friars want a Scar, then you can't. Yeah. And again, if I'm going to trade a Scar to the Padres, I'm going to probably want a reliever to come back with Cease. I want a reliever. That's me. That's just my. Yeah, I mean, they might trade LeGrand here, but I don't know. I hope they don't, but we'll see. But Caleb Durbin did shoot up the Yankees before. Yeah, they hyped him actively too. Studios. I don't understand why people are saying that. And who are they saying to sell? I doubt Jay Cronenworth will happen. He's had like 6 more years on his deal. That would block George Lombard. I don't see that making sense. Well, he is better with certain pitchers, Susan, than Wells is. And again, when I did the post game last time, we had Hector from Morning Brew, and he was reporting, and he works live with the Yankees, right? So he was asking some players that some players have expressed frustration with the lack of preparation when it comes to Austin Wells with certain pitchers. Okay, so Cease for Grisham, I would not do that. Who put out that trade rumor? Why would you give up Rock Riggio and Grisham for 2 months of Cease? But I mean, there certain Yankees like Escara too. Susan, back to your point, like not getting one. No, you'd give another piece with Escara, but Escara's got 5 years of control left, and so you can give another prospect in there. But that's what I would want. I would want one of the relievers. Yeah, the Yankees are not going to go full blown sell. I understand why people are saying it. I get it. Dislocated toe, Justin Fields. Damn, how do you dislocate your toe? Oh my God. Shoot. Who would I give up for Bird? Jake Bird? A good prospect or two. Andrew Chafin, just a marginal prospect. Selling, but just about everyone but Judge. Okay. Flores does look good. And look, if they trade a Scar, because they're fielding a lot of calls on a Scar, and he's an elite pitch framer. He's a better pitch framer than Wells is, and that's got to acknowledge that. So at least I'll acknowledge that. So, and there's a reason why teams want him, because he might go to a team that has a lot of young pitching. help these young pitchers develop. As an elite pitch framer, they need that type of developmental component to their progression. So you definitely won't have to give up much for Chafin. Maybe you can get Chafin and Demet Rosario in the same trade, right? So, well, this is thing too. Yeah, I mean, Cease would probably be a rental for the Yankees. I don't know if I would extend him because he is a Boris client. So, yeah. But Flores is looking good. Yeah, I mean, if you move the Scar, then you can replace him with Flores. But I can understand the logic of keeping a Scar too. So, yeah, the Padres acquired Cease by flipping Thorpe, who's got Tommy John recently too. Yep. I don't know if they could have gotten Cease. I'm not sure. That I'm not sure. Maybe. I'm not sure. Well, I agree too. I don't think he's going to be worth what Boris is. And Boris is going to ask for the moon for him. The Rangers, I don't know. I don't know. And this is the unpredictable right now heading into the trade deadline, right? And yeah, Season Arise are both rentals. Yep. Yes, sir. This is the unpredictable. Like, could the Rangers make guys available? Maybe. I heard there's some chatter that they might make Adolis Garcia available, but the Yankees don't need an outfielder, right? So, and Arias, I mean, he's got to be. They're looking for better option than that. But the fact, like, if it's true, then they're not looking for that. They're not interested in McMahon or Hayes or Suarez, and they're still looking after their like. Who is that person going to be? It could be Rosario, but it could be somebody that we're not even thinking of, right? We don't know. And like the only way I would get a rise is if he played third, and I would use him in a specific way at third base. But that's me. Hill struggled in the yesterday. He was good the first 2 games, but he struggled last night. Pereira, Escar, and Riccio for who is not that much. For who are you talking about, Deron? I would agree. Better fit for the Mets too. Yeah, he's taking advantage of it, man. He's taking advantage of it. Acquire who, Gerald? Who's that? Desist. Who's that? I don't know. I mean, that if you get a third baseman like Hayes with control years, that tells me that they're probably looking at George Lombard at replacing Anthony Volpe at some point. I'm not surprised. That the Friars are sniffing in Alcantara. I wouldn't be surprised if he went there, knowing he's got control years, knowing they're going to lose Cease and King. It makes sense for them, right? It makes sense to the Cubs too. So, cease and desist. I don't see them trading Volpe either. So, I figured you were pulling the leg. A little nudge. I'll wrap this up in a second anyway, but I wanted to get your thoughts on long relief, right? We have 2 guys here that I think can serve the Yankees well in long relief this season. And as a way of easing these guys back in to keep them healthy. And we have some guys like Brubaker and Stroman and Warren who could still give innings. If Warren can fix that issue where he doesn't get hit super hard in the first inning, it give us some good value. He can give us some good value. But if he doesn't, then that's the whole point of having these guys in long relief. That way you're not pulling Warren after 2 innings and using your bullpen for 7 innings. Right? What we give for Pete Fairbanks? Probably a prospect or 2. That's what I'm talking about, guy. Ryan Yarbrough. He'd be a lefty guy in long relief, in my opinion. We'll see what the asking prices are going to be. But Preller definitely, he's a bold GM as of the Phillies GMs too. So I think the Phillies will be aggressive. I think the Padres will be aggressive. I think the Tigers and I'll watch out for the Brewers too. I think the Brewers are going to be aggressive, especially the way they're playing now. So, well, that's the thing too, Joe. Yeah, I mean, his arm is fine, but maybe he's got to work with a new pitching coach that can help rediscover that stuff, right? So, I'm not sure. The Rays might have a couple of depth infielders if the Yankees are willing to add a shortstop, and if they can get one from the Rays, that's not going to cost a lot of money. Then maybe they can play the infield here as a backup player, right? So, SJ, what's happening, man? Hamilton, Lionel, and Weisinger. Yeah, they could be. You could be right, John. Leiter might be gone, or Efrost might be gone. Yeah. But the Yankees will have to promote guys to the 40 man because they have quite a few guys that they need to protect from the Rule 5 draft, which is why I think the Yankees are going to trade from the 40 man roster as much as they can. And Volpe does need a break, which is why it would be wise for the Yankees to see if they can get a second infielder that's not a third baseman who can spell Volpe on the days where he needs rest because they're playing him every single day, right? Let's look at the Rays here. Okay, and when I talk about like these infielders, okay, infield. You got guys like Jonathan Aranda, Jose Caballero, Coco Montez, Taylor Wells. There's a couple guys here that they might be able to pry away from the Rays, right? And they still have Hassan Kim, who's just starting to come back now. So some of these guys might be expendable. Yeah, exactly. Volpe plays a lot of games, so it'd be good to give him a break, a rest and a mental break. That's why we need the right guys. And again, like obviously, Peraza is not doing enough. Neither is Viva. So, but those are the guys that are here now to give Volpe. We need somebody better to give Volpe a break, right? So, Buck Showalter's, I think, calling games for the network. I think he's just kind of floating around. I think. No, I don't know. This is what I'm saying, man. Like, we need some depth behind Volpe. We do. We need some good depth behind Volpe. Which is why if you can get one of these third basemen and a Willie Castro, something like that, that's a heck of a lot better. You guys so much better in the depth and versatility. So we'll see if the Yankees actually do that. My point today was long relief. Okay, Ryan Yarbrough and Luis Hill could serve as lefty and righty long relief. So I appreciate the feedback. I mean, IKF, it could happen too. It can happen too. The Rays are not. Yeah, the Rays are like 3 or 4 games behind the Yankees. Yep. Well, exactly too. Graham. Yeah, you'll have to give up. And there's like the 2 players that the Yankees can give up from the 26-man line that could extract good value back are Jason Dominguez and Ben Rice. Right? We don't know that he would do that, Jersey guy. We don't know he would do that. Not really concerned, but he's got to fix the blister issue. I mean, the blister went from the index finger to the pinky yesterday, so he's got to get that squared away. But also, Showalter would not throw his player under the bus. He never plays. He never throws players under the bus. But we'll see. We will see, gang. Turned around multiple teams before winning championships. He's never won a championship though. Bart Showalter. He did a decent job with the Orioles, beat by the Yankees. Right? Did a decent job with the Yankees before Joe Torre took over. Right? Apply for the job then, Jersey guy. If you think he sucks, apply for the job. Yeah. I don't know. I think he might have had a blister thing or two with the Braves too, Graham. Yeah. So that's a frustrating type of minor injury. So split nail, blister. Because you toss it, you get these spin, and you got these stitches that kind of dig into the skin, dig into the skin. So yeah, yeah, they don't do that now. Managers do not throw their players under the bus in public. They don't do that. The only unsigned free agent infielder right now, Whit Merrifield. Yeah, I guess JD Martinez, the only unsigned DH, right? Find the Showalter type manager. You think that's just going to happen? They'll just come here and turn things around? Who's a Showalter type manager? You think Bruce Bochy can come here and turn it around? No. Dusty Baker? No. They'd have the same problems. Same problems. Yeah. Old school managing, yeah. 25 years ago? Yeah. Not today. Just, the game has evolved. It's a different type of game now. It really, really is. Do we want? Would I like some old school components? Sure, but I'd rather have that in players. I'd rather have the old school hustle, fire in players, not managers. So that the managers that we have don't really have to worry about these guys, right? Showalter's results speak for themselves. Not a championship, not a single championship. Jersey guy, none. So people say Boone sucks because he hasn't won a championship. Neither has Showalter. Well, exactly too. People aren't waiting in line pining for this job either. So please stop watch Slack Wolf because I don't trash Boone. You can guarantee, all right, you can guarantee anything you want. You can guarantee anything you want. And I don't trash Boone. If you want people to trash Boone, go to other channels, man. They trash Boone and bring zero value to the viewers. It's a waste of time doing it here, right? Always defending Moon. Really? Not trashing him is not the same thing as defending him. Okay. Worse than Mike. Okay. Oh, dude. Okay. You're out of here, dude. Dude, don't need you. Go to another channel, man. Go to another channel, dude. I'm telling you, breaking news. Believe me, I can't wait to break it, Silver. Believe me. Same, exactly the same baloney. You're coming up with all these talking points, Jersey guy. Talking points. Showalter has just as many championships as Boone. Zero. Zero. That's a fact. We may not like it, but it's a fact. Do I like Showalter? Sure. Yeah. That doesn't mean his style of managing would match well now. Right? Well, yeah, David Martinez called out his players in Washington. He and the GM got fired. Yeah, this is in plain sight. It happened a couple weeks ago, right? Maybe a month ago. And then the GM got fired for doing this type of stuff. So it's a different game. We don't really have control over that, unfortunately. And neither do the managers either. Right? And this is why I don't trash people. This doesn't bring any value. And why am I going to trash somebody that has not here to respond to defend themselves? That is the epitome of weakness. Castro covers third base. Yeah, he does cover third base. He covers shortstop too, so. But he's also a rental. He would be a free agent after this year too. So, and I do think that Grisham would be a fit with the Phillies too. Can we get a serviceable infielder in here for them? I don't know. Maybe Springer from the A's. Soriano I wouldn't take unless you're going to get Mason Miller with him. The rumor from Newsweek. Newsweek? What rumor? Grisham to Philly, Cashman to New York, and Phillies prospects to Minnesota. Are you talking about a 3-team trade? 3-team trade? Interesting. I'll take a look at that and see if there's anything teeth to it. Or that's somebody, a beat writer, putting out a trade proposal. Right? Yep. Well, fundamentals aren't taught at the majors. They're taught down below in high school and little league and all that type of stuff. So, and these guys are paid a lot of money by the owners who control a hell of a lot more than the managers do. And I think one of the frustrating parts for the fans is, at least when it comes to the Yankees, that they don't really know what the hierarchy is. But how much do we know the hierarchy with anywhere else either? Right? We really don't know. So we're relying on speculation and talking points. And that's why I'd rather just stay quiet instead of peddle talking points. Doesn't elevate the conversation, doesn't elevate our knowledge anywhere. CBS Sports. Phillies could acquire Grisham in a 3-team trade. The Kings right there. That would be an interesting trade. So Grisham would go to the Phillies. Castro would come to the Yankees, and Phillies prospects would go to the Twins? Is that how it would work? Or like one Philly prospect and one Yankee prospect? Or what would the Yankees get from the Phillies if we're sending them Grisham? Would we get a prospect? That trade could help each team fill a need. So, that's an intriguing trade. It's not sexy, but it's intriguing. I'm going to look into that. The Curtis Granderson trade, yeah, he was part of a 3-team trade. I think wasn't Max Scherzer involved in that 3-team trade? Yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we haven't. When's the last time we saw a 3-team trade? I can't even think of one. Before, yeah, Max Scherzer. So I think he was part of that 3-team trade. Yeah. Yeah. Did he go from Diamondbacks to the Tigers in that, or Tigers to the Diamondbacks? Something like that, right? The Phillies have infield prospects. So that would be like, Alec Boehm would be great, but Alec Boehm's in the IL, and we're gonna have to give the Phillies more than Grisham for Alec Boehm, right? But from Arizona to Detroit. Okay, that's what I thought. And we got Didi, and Didi struggled his first year here too, and then he turned it around and became Didi, which we loved. So, yeah. Yes, indeed. But we're going to see what the Yankees get. I'll take one last scoop here and see if there's anything going on right now before we wrap it up, because I got to get back to work here. I got some conference calls I got to get on. Let's see. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Okay. Well, let me look at one more thing here. Let's look up Yankee specific stuff here to see if we got anything. What's going on? Durant, always a pleasure. No, I don't rock. I block people who become disrespectful. You get disrespectful to me, you get blocked. Disrespectful to people on the channel, you get blocked. I've said that from day one. Okay? I don't block them for disagreeing with me. But you become disrespectful to me, you get blocked. Or anybody else, you get blocked. Okay, this is not a high school channel. We don't play the games here. People are more than welcome to disagree. But the second you become a dick, you're out. Disagreeing is freedom of speech. Disagreeing invites other people to think from their perspective. Rocket, I guess you didn't see that part, right? When he became a jerk to me. That's why he got blocked. No, it's not my job, Silver. No. Saying that you then he started saying I'm worse than Michael. He started saying other things too. It became disrespectful. Did you ignore that or did you not miss? Did you not see that? Because I saw it. Everybody else saw it too. Okay. And I don't always defend Boone. I don't trash him. People like to call me a Boone lackey because I don't trash him. What is trashing him going to do? Nothing. Nothing. There's no value to just trashing a guy when he's not here to respond to it. Right? I don't know. I asked the Padres and Manny Machado. Manny Machado's got 12 errors, and Suarez has, I think, 12 errors too. Eugenio Suarez. So there's a lot of guys, Jersey guy, with a lot of errors. So that's one of the like Suarez would be nice to get here at his bat, but what if he cost the Yankees 4 or 5 games with his glove? Then what would people say, Jersey guy? And that's the other part of this equation, right? I understand what you're saying. Bichette, Batista. Who's Batista? I didn't say he cursed at me. I didn't say he cursed at me. But he started to become disrespectful to me. Okay? It's not a blockable thing. Maybe to you. Okay? Worse than K is disrespectful, dude. You don't like it, too bad. I engage everybody, people who agree with me and disagree with me. I engage people all the time. Thank you, LT. But I've said this from day one. The second you become a dick to me or someone else in here, you're gone. It's that simple. Right? People know this. There are other channels that embrace being a dick. You're more than welcome to go there and troll. Go right ahead. That's cool. The O's closed. The Phillies Batista, right? Suarez does strike out a lot. He does. And he does not make a lot of good plays at third base. So there are cons to goes with his pros. Like he's obviously murdering the ball right now. There's no doubt about it. Right? No doubt about it. But beyond that, there are things that offset his offensive production. I hear you, Barry, man. I appreciate that, man. So, and again, I give people a chance, right? I give people a chance. And if you want to take advantage of that, okay. You want to do it the other way, don't expect to not get called out or blocked. Right? I'm not going to ruin the experience for everybody else. I'm not going to trash people and pawn myself off as a real talker like some other people do. Yeah, but it is what it is, man. We're all Yankee fans. We all bleed the same pinstripe blue, so it's okay to have differing opinions. But it's also not necessary to be a jerk. Well, first off, I don't know how long he's been subscribed, Rocka, but I say this from people know, okay? The second you become disrespectful to me multiple times, you're out of here, dude. Whether you subscribed or not. You made a choice to be a dick. Right? It's their choice. That's their decision. Right? Right, Rocka Village? Why would you come here and be a jerk if you're subscribed to somebody? I don't voluntarily become a dick to people. Exactly, 2 Graham. If people make a statement, I ask questions, I ask them to back it up. I ask the same question multiple times. They can't answer the question, right? I give people a chance to back up their cases, back up their statements multiple times. But yeah, exactly, Peanut too. A lot of people are frustrated about the, and there's no need to take it out on people. There's no need to do that, especially in a public forum, right? That's why I say I don't trash people unless you're going to do it to their faces. In person, not on a screen, in person. Yeah, it's okay to be frustrated, Peanut, right? It's okay. When you start attacking someone here, attacking myself, if being blocked is the worst thing that happens to you, okay. Yeah. Thank you, Graham. That's all I did. Yeah, a lot of keyboard warriors, Robert. 100%, man. And you're right too, John. Yesterday it looked like a circus, man. There's no defending that, man. Really. Somebody was disrespectful to me, so he got blocked. And then someone who's standing up for that person was disrespectful to me because apparently that person was a subscriber for a long time, which I appreciate. But again, that doesn't give you the right to be a jerk to me. Okay. You don't have to be agreeable. I don't expect people to be agreeable. People disagree with me all the time. They come back every day. They don't get blocked. Right? Go right ahead. Go unsubscribe. Go right ahead. That's cool. All I try to bring is rational positions, rational thought here. Right? That guy Pete. Who's Pete? I don't know who Pete is. Once in a while. Well, I appreciate it, guy. I mean, but I give people the benefit of the doubt until they make it not possible anymore. And if the worst that happens is you get blocked, that ain't that bad. I don't listen. I don't watch that channel at all. Balls to the wall. I don't get any value from them. I don't watch them. Well, I appreciate that, Graham. Thank you. They do their thing over there. That's fine. On that channel, we do our thing here. That's cool. Appreciate you, Barry. Thank you, man. And again, even myself, I'm a fan too. We get frustrated. I get it. I get it, man. Bless why that I mean, I got that for hard work, years of hard work. But some people get blocked. Some people have to get blocked. Raka, right? Some people have to get blocked. And there are plenty of other channels where you can go be a jerk to other people, right? They should unsubscribe. Yeah, they're welcome to unsubscribe if I block them. That's cool. Go unsubscribe. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. No, I don't go ranting for that's the thing. Like so many people rant and they don't even have the full story. I don't see the point, right? Who am I? Wait, what? Oh, you guys are having. Okay, that's not me. I'm up. 100% Susan. 4 hours last night. That's just that's a very sloppy play. But to your point, too, Graham, like there's so many people just go and rant about stuff, and you know, and it's the same ranting all the time. And like, okay, people can be frustrated and rant, but do I need to rant 10 days in a row about the same thing? Do I need to relitigate the 2024 World Series? No, right? Relievers like, yeah, yeah. Give me relievers that get it done 100%. Got that right. Yeah, I don't talk about other channels. And I give credit to people. I give credit to content creators, but I don't go around and attack other channels or anything. It's inappropriate. It's not fair. If they're not here to defend themselves, it's not fair to them. I appreciate you, Alan, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. We just try to keep it straight here, man. We gotta keep it straight here, man. You know, I appreciate that too, Joseph, man. That's we try. Look, we try to be sensible. We try to be fair, right? And there's nothing, you know, on Bleacher Report, and good for him. Who cares? Good, good for them. If that's his company, he's building his main company. I'm building two separate, helping build two separate companies. I do this aside from the work that I'm doing. So if that's his main job, then yeah, he's good for him to try to get networking with other Bleacher Report and everybody else. Good. It's not off one of just one comment, Raka. It was multiple comments. No, I don't. I don't throw indirect shots, Raka. If I'm going to take a shot, I'm going to shoot it right to the count, to the channel, whatever the channel is. I don't even know what indirect shots is. I don't even know what you mean by that. Always throw indirect shots at other channels. You see what? What? Indirect shots at other channels. What channels am I taking shots at? Oh, Hector was fantastic last night. It was fantastic. Love having Hector on. Jason Dominguez is still a developing player. He still has things he needs to work on. Right? Yeah, what are you trying to accomplish, Rocket? That's the question too. Like, you're not going to get anything. So, well, that's we. Yeah, I mean, we try to base it on reality, right, Graham? And I look at what the people who speak, deal in reality are saying too. Again, like, and we base the facts, we do the homework, we do the research, and then we kind of formulate a discussion from there. But if we're just so many people just go on Twitter, look at other people's rants, and then they bring it to YouTube. Why do they do that? Yeah, seriously, thank you, Barry. We're going back to long relief for the Yankees. Dominguez is 22. Yeah, he still has, like, he can develop, well, offensively, he can develop defensively too. So, and again, like, he's one of the two players on the 26 and him and Ben Rice who could extract value if they decide to trade him for whatever reason. He's one of the guys that can get value back, right? So, yeah, I don't really know what is going on between Boss to the Wall and other folks here. I'm missing. Sorry, guys, I'm missing part of the discussion here. But yeah, Bullpen arm. Look, there's a couple. Like there's a couple from the Twins. Any bullpen arm, I think, would be wise for them to get to have controllable years because they might lose Luke Weaver. They might lose Devin Williams. They could lose both of them this offseason. So I would want to get two guys with controllable years. And that's what I would get. To me, it makes more sense. Oh, there's armchair GMs, armchair generals. They're just keyboard tough guys. It's all over the place. Like, you might as well just have it out in the ring, man. Have it out in the ring. And just get it over with. Ben Rice, yeah, there are certain pitches I like to throw to him too. So I wouldn't be offended at that. Especially now that, some pitchers have expressed frustration with Austin Wells. We'll see what they do. But Wells and Volpe could be nursery injuries for all we know. I don't know. I mean, definitely, Volpe also gets a lot of activity at shortstop. So, but I'm not surprised. Ken, what do you know, man? I'm not surprised he has a lot of errors. He's not defending his errors, but he has a lot of activity at shortstop. Yeah. But high leverage arms with controllable years. That's what I think would be a good way for the Yankees to address the bullpen in the next week, if they can, right? If they can. Let's see. Yeah, I think. Thank you, Ken. Somebody was also reporting about Justin Fields. It looks like it's a toe injury. I'm glad it's not Achilles or ACL or anything like that. So I will breathe some fresh air, but I'll breathe better. I'll feel better once Fields back on the field, moving like we know we can move, right? So, yeah. I mean, the guy from the Cardinals that I want, I know is very unlikely to be traded. So, and I can't blame the Cardinals for not trading him. Can't blame him for not doing that. Yeah. But the Twins relievers you got Griffin Jacks. You got a couple of these guys, Joan Duran, a couple guys with controllable years. The Jets, yeah. Unfortunately, they are cursed to a degree, and more often than not, it's like a consistent thing with the Jets. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case, but it is. Yeah, I really wish it wasn't the case. But Twins relievers, Rockies relievers, Kate Smith from the Guardians. Those guys, I think, have the most controllable years with the most upside, but they're going to cost the most prospects, and justifiably so, rightfully so. Did Jax get whacked? Yeah. These guys get hit on occasion too, so. I don't know anything about his company, man, so I can't say anything about his company. So, and stealing I don't know anything about it. So, and I can't comment on that. So that's whatever he's doing over there is his thing. The Yankees can get Cease. I know they're having discussions, but Cease would be a rental. Be a rental. D-backs give up Kelly without. Yeah, I mean, could they give up Kelly without Suarez? Yeah, probably. Probably. I'm guessing they're going to try to package them to get a bigger return, but Duran, Minnesota. Yeah. Duran from Minnesota looks good. John Duran. He's a nasty. He's got a nasty arm. So does Jake Burr from the Rockies. Wallace had numbness in his throwing hand. I don't know. Man. I wish we knew more. Right? Batista from the oh God, really? Another one. probably off the block. Doing all right this year. I'm gonna wrap this up. I gotta get back to work. But yeah, a lot of divisions. Yeah, the Phillies, the Dodgers. That's why teams like the Blue Jays are making a run. Teams like the Brewers are making a run, right? So, and you know what? Good, good. Hulk Hogan. I no way he did not really. Is that still? Is that? There's so much stuff. Yeah, Jimmy Hart is the latest to dispute this. There's a lot of rumors that he was on his deathbed, but there's no confirmation that he's. Oh, wait a minute. TNZ Sports. Wait a minute. He did pass at the age of 71. Hold on a second here. Breaking news. Whoa. Looks like he's gone. Yeah. Wow. Looks like Hogan did pass. There's a lot of posts out now. Wow. I wonder what happened. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, man. Rest in peace, man. Dunderlips. Yeah. Dunderlips, baby. We'll make it happen, SGH, one of these days, man. I saw you hopped on Mania this morning for a little bit. I caught it for a couple minutes. Yeah. Ozzy Osbourne. Excuse me. Theo Huxtable, Malcolm Jamal Warren, all in the same week, man. All these guys. He drowned. Theo Huxtable the other day. He was in Costa Rica with his family on vacation. He drowned, man. Got pulled out by some rapids or something like that. And so Theo Huxtable, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan in the same week. Man. Wow. Ozzy, that was 11. He was a legend right there. Ozzy was the big one of the three. Hulk Hogan was controversial. I know a lot of people disliked him too for the racist positions he took and all that stuff. But he was, a wrestling legend, that's for sure. The wrestling legend. But yeah, what do we got here? Got some reporting from Chris Kirschner. Defensive run saves is a public stat that Aaron Boone points to being the best one to measure defense. Last year, defensive Yankees position players accumulated 10 defensive run saves. Judge and Torres alone combined for -20. This year, the Yankees position players are at 6. Dominguez at -7. Last year, defensive Yankees position players had 8 outs above average. This year, they have -7 outs above average. So they use defensive run. Apparently, according to this, they use outs above average and defensive run saves as part of their defensive metrics. Yeah, the 3 people: Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne, and Pete. What's his name? Theo Huxtable, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Yeah, we're getting all the comments in now about Hulk Hogan. Wow, there's a lot of posts here that says he's passed. I wonder what happened. I don't know. That I don't know. Support Yale. This is true too, Joseph. This is true too. Malcolm Jamal Warner, yeah. Theo Huxtable. He was 54. I think he drowned in Costa Rica. Drowned on vacation with his family, which is terrible. You got to get your Rocky 3 on Thunder. I saw it the other day, Thunderlips. Yeah. Yanks right now overall trade and stuff, Rice. I don't know, man. I know that they need to make trades right now to make the team better. They need to stop some of this bleeding. So, yeah, cardiac arrest. Okay. Well, rest in peace, Hulk, man. Yeah. I'm sure WWE will do something on that. But Bryce, yeah, I mean, the Yankees have some moves that they need to make. And I'll wrap this up too. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Appreciate the insights, and thanks for bearing with the trolls too. Yeah, so it is what it is. It is what it is, right? That's what happens on a regular basis. But yeah, Ozzy's a big hit, man. Ozzy's a big hit. And may he rest. May he rest well. Theo, may he rest well. Hulk, may he rest well, man. So if any other news comes out, gang, you'll be getting it here. That's the word. That's my promise. So hit the like button on the way out if you haven't done that yet. Much love to everybody, and I'll catch you on the other side.